Day 14, Radville BMX 30-day, 30-bike challenge. Today's lineup: SE Trickmaster 1985 in a aqua blue or perhaps Smurf blue. There's two colors of blue here. To me it looks a little bit more aqua, but that's supposed to be super rare, so I'm gonna maybe just say it's Smurf blue with a nice 30-year fade on it. But we'll do some color matching and kind of talk about that later in the follow-on here. So today, let's get into it. From the ground up, we actually got some very old school tires ready for a blowout with the gum walls. Need to change these out to something a little bit more suitable that'll hold up a little better. But recently just changed these wheels and went with the 6-star Skyway OE, original edition OE, right? And these tires just need to get changed out. But for today, good enough to go through. Like we always call out what's right and what's wrong. So clearly the tires are seen better days and a little bit, as they say, rode hard and put up wet. So we'll change those out. Just didn't do it today because I really need to figure out what tires to put on there. Actual catalog would be a V rubber tire, and I'm not sure I have something that was much better than the ones on here, so just kind of stuck with that. But I think the black with the tan gum wall is working pretty good, so definitely go that route. Let's move forward to the midsection, right? So we have a 175 crank with a chain ring and disc, and the VP 300 pedals, so pretty close to correct. The chain ring is a tracer or tracker, depending upon the proper way to say that, attached to the disc there. So that's actually pretty correct. Moving up through the seat post. So we actually talked about earlier in the series a seat mast with the seat mast clamp turned around backwards. So this one's actually by design. So, but I did turn around the seat clamp so it's facing backwards, and it's a 25 millimeter seat clamp, Suntour, and so that's pretty cool with the SE. Seems to be original, right? Paint matching on the post, straight post with a seat. This is not the freestyle seat, and I'm not sure if this is correct, but it's definitely one of the more unique seats I've seen, and we'll show some close-ups of that later on in the quick edits after the main video, where we'll get just a closer look here. Moving forward, same tires, beat up in the front as well with the Skyway OE 6-star mags in white off yellow, definitely aged and matching the patina of the bike, so I like that. So it's a good match. Wanted to go more with the OE mags here. Originally, when this came to Radville BMX, it actually had some spokes on it, but from what I can see, the actual catalog edition would have ACS mags. Didn't have any in white. Do have a set in black that maybe could work, but they're just going to be probably much newer and not matching the patina. So I think the OE mags is okay and would look similar to the ACS mags, but catalog edition I do believe would have ACS Z mags. Then we have the spinner pegs down low, showing that it's an 85, I believe, on the forks. You can double check that. Some of the purists that know more about the Trickmaster than me probably can add a comment and correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it did put the spinner pegs in there. And of course we got the landing gear forks, which is what SE super famous for, these forks, and we're going to talk a little bit about these. First of all, they got what's interesting is kind of like a weep hole in the top, so it's a platform that you can actually stand on. Pretty interesting, right? Pretty cool. Just giving you a lot of platforms on this bike. So you got them in the rear, on the seat mast, and then again on the forks here with the screw-in pegs. What's cool though, what you've seen and what seems pretty typical, is you would put some grip tape there. This actually doesn't have any grip left on the tape. I'm not sure that it ever did, just looks like tape. And don't know if that was by design, so kind of heard people say, so the rain could run through. But I don't know that you want to leave your 1985 Trickmaster out in the rain. But to me, those holes were usually typically more for when they were getting powdered and originally put together. But also could just be a way to help get the grip tape there. So, but that's the landing gear forks. And you can see the welds around, those platforms being attached to the forks. So SE did some really cool, innovative stuff, and that's definitely one of them. So we'll show you a good close-up of that weld around those platforms. Let's move up through the headset. You actually can see on this one, we have the right cup for the rotor, so that it's given just the right amount of tension on that rear cable with the ACS. And this is actually a Pro rotor. Looks like it's functioning okay, but I'm not sure. It's got a little bit of extra gap in it, so I think it might need a little bit of attention. And it's laced to the ACS stem. And it's got the POTS mod as well as the hole for the rear cable to come through. And then let's talk about the vector bars. So these are very interesting, and I was hesitant to keep these on the bike. When it came to Radville BMX, the vector bars were part of it. What's interesting is they actually look like the SE bars, except for the big gulp holder in the back. But I do see some pretty funny videos where people riding around with their big gulps and different things there in that platform. So it comes in handy for if you're needing a place to store your big gulp. Don't think we'll be riding the Trickmaster with too many big gulps, but it does give you a little standing platform, and it is pretty interesting. And all in all, just based on what was the best fit for the bike, just kept with that, and it's working for the moment. In fact, kind of digging it. So again, any comments on the vector bars, let me know. But to find the original SE bars, which are kind of similar with the crossbar, but I just don't see any pictures with that vector platform coming over the stem. Okay, then you move up, and the levers are 1/28, which are great, some of my favorites. The blue is a little bit much. I'm not sure if those were spray bombed or what. They definitely got something going on, but just stayed with those. Could have changed them out and gone with all white, but they're laced up and ready to go, so sticking with them. And the AME grips with some new SE donuts, and those are nice, keeping your hands from becoming lunch meat. So all in all, really like this bike. I think its overall condition is super cool, super unique. It is very close to Survivor. I'm going to go with the original paint job is definitely intact. Like I said, Radville BMX, we changed out the mags for spokes, so I know those are not original, and definitely the spokes I don't think were either. They were a little bit more of a later 80s type wheels, so had no problem changing those out, and I just think it looks better with the 6-star. Now the crankset would definitely be appropriate for it, whether it's original. I'd probably just say, chances are it's not. In the stem and the bars are all kind of, to me, the bike has been put together and rebuilt, and that's how Radville BMX acquired it. But I do think the paint is original, and it's beautiful color, beautiful patina. Trickmaster decals are in pretty decent shape. So all in all, it's just a fun bike. Had some great ads in the 1985 freestyling magazines that you could see this bike advertised. Only made for a couple years. And SE's still around, and great brand. Scott Enterprises have done so much for the BMX world. We'll talk more about that later on, but just real happy to show the Trickmaster today in day 14 of the Radville BMX 30-day, 30-bike BMX Old School Challenge. Thanks so much for tuning in, and if you get a chance to subscribe to the rest of the series, that'll be great. Thanks so much. Take care.